Hey guys, happy new year, happy 2013. I hope you and your family have a really good year, prosperous year, and a healthy year. And I wanted to say thank you for watching, especially those that's gonna bolt and take off, because I'm gonna start rambling and babbling and stuff like that. So I hope you guys like what's coming down the line with you know, the WGC videos and all our friends and stuff like that, and all the projects we have you know, lined up for you guys for this year. Anyways, so once those guys have taken off, I'm gonna do a little, you know, kind of ramble video type of thing. See, I'm at my old setup. Really, it's not really an old setup, it's my setup to where I do my personal stuff. And I just wanted to figure out, well, what can I do to kind of take you guys back to the past, about reflecting the past and, you know, what we've done, or what I've done so far this year type of thing. And it's like, oh, I do a collage, but everyone does that, and I kind of don't like collage videos, you know, because that's kind of like, you know, watching a TV show and then you come to the show where they have a filler, and in the filler video the main character gets, you know, in a coma or something, and he starts dreaming up all these sequences in the past episodes of the seasons that they already had and stuff like that. So it's kind of silly. But what I figured is I'll take you guys on a journey, like way back on a journey, and show you guys my experiences with communities, online communities and stuff like that. So I hope you guys enjoy. 1992. We're just getting over big hair, glam bands, and parachute pants, I believe. I was out of high school by then, and well into my way of college, and that's when we were sitting down and got my first awesome 88 computer with the amber screen. It was so awesome, exciting times back then. And I think we were, I think I was pumping on 128 megs of RAM. It was really awesome. I mean, that was high-tech stuff, and it was stuff that you know, you didn't think you need more of, type of thing. So using that computer, you know, it just basically got myself into a BBS, a bulletin board system. Now this is back then. This is high-tech stuff. Okay, we are talking ANSI graphics and awesome text, and you could actually dial into a system and talk to other people around your local, you know, area, town, because it's local calls. So back then, local calls means free, you know, calling and stuff like that. If you have to dial over to the next area code, you have to pay for that. So you had to find a local board system where, you know, it offsets the fees, where you don't have to, you know, pay too much in phone bills. And yeah, it was pretty awesome. And here's some example. If you've never seen a bulletin board system, I know it's for some of you guys it's way beyond your time. This is what one looks like. Okay guys, this is the Keep BBS. This is one of those BBSs back then, which were around. This isn't the BBS that I was involved in. The BBS I was involved in is called Annex BBS, and logged on there, was a member for a while, and then became staff. Back then my handle was Phantom, and spelled with an F. I was into, you know, Phantom of the Opera back then, and I wanted to be different and just pronounced it with the F, or, you know, spelled it with an F. So this is the Keep BBS, and this is the example of awesome ANSI graphic. You see all those little characters there. It creates a little castle thing, you know, or a keep. So it's the Keep BBS. So there you go. There's your ANSI graphics. You would log in and then be taken to the screen here, and then it gives you all the information that you need that's going on in the BBS here. Like, it has news and everything. Everything is just scrolling, and then you're at your main menu. You could check what's called electronic mail. Okay, this is email back then. So you go in there, and then you go into E, and then check your messages. You can send messages to each other, and then if you go back out, there's something else called forums, which is, here is what forums look like back then. See if I can get the heck out of here. Oh my gosh, Alright, this is a little complicated for me because I haven't done this stuff in years, and I think you just press X to exit. There you go, main menu. There we go. And then forums back then looked like this. Alright, it just looked like your regular mail. Okay, and then they have different forums that you could go into and stuff like that. Enter for any new messages. So this is what the forums look like. It wasn't like, oh, you get to browse threads and stuff like that. It's like one message, you press next forward. There's no like index or anything. You can check the thread itself and then see what other messages are in there and stuff. But this was top notch back then. This is what we were calling high tech stuff. Okay, and then here we go, guys. Here's the kicker here. Let's take a look at online games, and this is the first. This is where the multi MMO games come from, right? You got role-playing game here. You got MUDs and stuff. They used to call them MUDs, mushes and stuff. And in the BBS, connect into a MUD. Oh wow, they have a lot of old blast from the past games. I used to play Tellarena all the time. This was the thing. I don't think I could play because I don't think I have a... Oh, my demo expired. Bah, whatever. I have to talk to Greg, maybe give me one, but I probably will not come back here afterwards. Mutant is another game. It's like another MUD type of game. And then it's back in those times where it's like text games. You remember those text games where, you know, you go into a room and you would say, you press E, W, N, and S for north, south, east, west. And then here I'm rolling up my character. I'll play a thief. I'm at the north gate. Everything's all text based. But the great thing is there's a lot of people playing this stuff, and then, you know, we would message each other over time and stuff like that. You know, over the system, and then meet up and drop any extra equipment we might have to help each other out and stuff like that. And there were tons of games. And Annex BBS, we used to write games for this stuff. Had a matchmaker, you know, calendar, user registry. It's all the stuff that you see now, but here it is in its purest form. Okay, so anyways, that is a BBS, and I don't know how to quit out of here. Someone help me. Oh my god. Oh dear god. Someone help. This is advanced shit. Okay, here we go. Goodbye. Are you sure you want to log off? Yes. Now that in a sense is BBS's and what an online community was back then, and it was an online community that brought the real life community together because it was local. So anyone that you would talk to online was probably just, you know, a few minutes drive away. I remember, you know, in the middle of the night, 2 a.m., we would be sitting there talking, and then I would do a system announcement and say, all right, meet up at Denny's. And that was our thing, meeting up at Denny's. We would eat, talk, just have fun and have drinks and stuff like that. It was back then when Denny's had bars. And it was, you know, the thing. I mean, I met lifelong friendships. The sysop of Annex BBS, the system operator, became my business partner later on when we entered the internet world and started doing web development and stuff like that. And friendships were made, friendships were destroyed, relationships were made, relationships were destroyed. I met well, really, you know, I mean, one of my girlfriends back there who is now still, I think, a friend. You know, I mean, we barely talk, but we all have our own lives now. We all go separate ways. But when we do talk, we still talk. I mean, that's the thing. We're still connected on Facebook and stuff like that. And we've seen marriages, we've seen divorces. It was crazy. It was nuts, but it was a community, and it was one of those where you just meet so many people and so much is going on that in essence is what, you know, community was all about. (1996). Now before that, in between 1996 and 1991, we were pretty much, you know, the internet came and then the BBS kind of slowed down. We jumped to the internet, and I believe in between then there was a few things that I've done that was community based. One of them was my very first kind of community site I did on the web. It's called ONWW, or ONWW, which stood for One Nation Worldwide. And it looked kind of like this. Okay, so this is One Nation Worldwide. The basic premise to this was this is actually a second incarnation of the site with the redesign and everything. The original site was horrible, and I did everything by hand. And that was, I don't know, maybe a year before this. And what happened was people submitted their stuff through a web form, and I would automatically, put it into HTML, and I would copy paste. It was horrible. I had such a hard time, getting it done and keeping up with it. And then that's when I got introduced to, I believe, Cold Fusion, which is a database application. And I just rewrote the whole thing. And fortunately, this is from Wayback Machine. Okay, so probably the actual functionality won't work, but the premise of this was to gather all the information about personal websites, because back then there was GeoCities, and everyone would make a website, talk about anything that was their personal thing, right? Just imagine like everyone taking and doing a video, about their personal life or whatever. Back then it was just like GeoCities and some other places that allowed free website hosting. So what happens is these people would make these websites and talk about personal life and stuff, and that's what really this website was about, was to index those things. Now it got really horribly horrible. Okay, it was a search engine for personal websites, but it got on some of these programs that allow you to submit your website, and we started getting tons of submissions that wasn't personal website. So it was a pain in the ass to go through, every day going through hundreds and hundreds of submissions and trying to weed out what was personal, what wasn't. But anyways, you would search for any keywords and stuff like that, and then like say if you're like fish or aquariums or something, you do aquarium search, it'll pop up people's personal websites about aquarium search and stuff like that. Maybe if I kept it going, it got gone somewhere, but it was just me and a couple of friends helping me with this, and oh man, that was crazy. We're all the spooks. In the meantime, while I was working on this, I was doing my paranormal stuff, ghost hunting stuff. That was back when it was cool. And also with one of my really close friends, best friends, we did a site called CyberRock LA, and basically that was a site that hosts indie bands. Ooh, that didn't work. Why didn't that work? Let me get out of the captures here. And basically what it did was, there we go, was host indie bands and stuff like that. So that was kind of a community too, but we got out of that a few years later because it was a pain in the butt to deal with all these indie bands. It's about around this time that I discovered IRC, and that's basically a chatting network site, basically. And a lot of people would go in, and there's tons of channels. You go chat in, jump in there, and you talk and all that. And that was probably the hottest thing back then, community-wise. Now, I found the channel called Camelot, and they did a lot of role-playing and stuff in there, so I joined that, and basically, joining all the fun, and we created storylines and stuff based off the authority and legends and stuff like that. And took over the channel, I think, after a year or two. And then we just ran our own channel and stuff like that. My then girlfriend, which I met on the IRC, both helped run the channel and basically, build a website and stuff like that. And we're meeting up with people, and it was pretty cool. It was, in that instance, a community back then. I think when the IRC was pretty hot. IRC is still around, so people still go and chat and stuff like that. I haven't been in IRC in ages, but basically that was pretty much at that point in my life the online community that I was mostly involved in. Around this time, I was looking for some way to do some role-playing. I missed the role-playing back in the high school days, and came across PBEM's play-by-email games, and I found a list where I posted up that I'm willing to, game master a game, and I got tons of replies, and it came to about maybe a group of 8 people doing this PBEM game that I ran. And it was pretty fun. It was done through email, it was turn by turn, so it took a little while. But after a few months of this, I asked them if they wanted to do, a website, to create a website about role-playing and stuff like that. And then a bunch of them jumped on board. And that became the first incarnation of what's called the Amethyst Alliance, which is, a website based on a community. And the online community, kind of taking the model from the BBS days. At this point, there wasn't really much of community. There was Yahoo and stuff like that, but there was no real community in the way of forums, other than just forums, I think, and it's in its infancy of forums. Very basic stuff about forums and stuff. At that time, people were putting up forums to talk. I wanted to expand a little bit more, and then to back in the old BBS days type of things. So now this might get a little long, because this is actually probably the turning point where it got to where I'm at now. Mainly during this time when I started putting up the Amethyst Alliance, which you can't see the image here. This was the really old site that was actually Role-Playing Guild. That was the name, but then we changed it because we had a vote, and that was the last time I ever wanted to do any votes about a certain project, because it came up with the name Amethyst Alliance, and I don't know. But anyway, so we put up a really very basic site. I mean, and this was like total beta stuff, and it took about, I don't know, probably we've been using it for about 9 months before we started to get into this, which is beta 2. This was actually in between this time. This is when we decided that we should write a turnkey software and make communities online, and so that people could buy the software, put it up, and make a community that has everything in it: forums, registries, and all that. And at this point in time, I think BB Portal was coming up and stuff on the PHP side and stuff like that. So this is kind of the incarnation of communities online. This type of format for communities online. So when you go in, unfortunately, the way we made the site, it was all back-end based. Okay, there is a front end where we talk about updates and stuff, but when you log in, which if I do it here now, it's going to give them an error, because it's not active. It's so again, it was based on the software that I created to make the site. And the software pretty much ran the back end of this, and pretty much became the kind of standard that I did for all my communities after a while. So the Amethyst Alliance was really big because it was one of the first role-playing sites out there. There was a couple, but we started out, put up the community. Lots of people joined. Thousands of members actually started joining this. Back then it was a lot. A couple thousand, and then we had stuff like the Amethyst Circle, which is, hopefully it goes back that far. Well, here we go, which is a online magazine for role playing, and we had writers and stuff like that, and it got really big. I mean, this community that we created was huge. This is how big it was. Trying to find staff and directors. All right, these are all the people involved. This was just the staff involved in running the site. Okay, and it got pretty big. I'm telling you, there's a couple, repeats and stuff because we're wearing many hats. But yeah, there must have been maybe 40 people around there that was running this, and we had different projects going on. Conclave of Arts was actually another site that was a spin-off of this site, of a community site for artists, for fantasy and sci-fi artists. You were able to come in here, basically look up artists and commission artwork from them. And it was like basically a commission artwork gallery. Go in and talk to people and stuff like that. The Great Amethyst Library, which, yeah, this is coming soon at this point in time, was a database full of knowledge about anything that you use for role playing. We had the Oracle Isles, which is a Dungeon Master player finder, and this went on for a while. And I think one of the big things about this was somewhere around 2000, which is about a year, about maybe almost 2 years later, when the internet started getting established and there was all these other role-playing websites coming out, that the Amos Alliance created the RPG Consortium. And the RPG Consortium was basically, I don't know why it does that, a network of all these role-playing websites. Now let me see if I could get there. That was a really early incarnation of it. The best RPG gigolos around. Please don't feed the animals. We still had my old little humor to it, but basically what it is it was a network site. People would come here and then keep track of all these big role-playing sites. Okay, and we had tons of them, and these were the big role-playing sites back then. They'd come here, they could post news and stuff like that. And now I'm going to leave talking about the Amos Alliance, because what happened with the Amos Alliance was, after a few years, which I believe was probably in 2002, was when we started moving everything over to the RPG Consortium. Alright, still a network site here, and it was mainly just for getting news about all these websites. And then I started hosting their forums, because back then it was pain in the butt to set up forums, and I wrote a forum module where they all could share forums, and basically that's one of the things I did for all the network members. And we just, back then, that was what we called social networking. Okay, and we did a lot of it, and we all pitched in, helped, and it was just awesome. Now if I could get to the point where we actually moved over, which is not here, I think in 2003, was it? Yeah, this was going on strong for a very long time. Very long time. Here we go. This is when we started moving. Nope, this is still them. I think this is when, we all left, because, on the internet things change, especially after a few years. Okay, everyone went their own way, and they, they got to the point where they had, had to go their own way. We all had to, which was great, and I was really, really proud that I helped these guys, get there. And I think it was during this time where we decided to move everything over and run, everything as the RPG Consortium. Okay, we had chat, we had registries, look up people. I don't know if it goes back that far. I don't have access to the area because I'm not logged in. But yeah, it's basically forums, and all the tools we took down, and we wanted to re-put everything back up again slowly on a new system, because again, the system was upgraded like 1,000 times. As you can see, throughout the time, things change. Again, staffs moved, staff come up, leave and then come back. It's a very, in the whole community type of thing, things move, things change, and that's the thing about it. Usually it changes for the better. You miss the old times, but the new times come, and you go with it. Now I'm trying to find the part where we already moved over, and basically we've been running like this for a while. We started putting up all the other little tools and stuff we had at Amos Alliance, because we had to manually convert everything over, because we wanted to kind of go back and really do things up again. Now this is where things are changed up. Now this is the new layout. We had tons of articles. We moved all the articles from the magazine, the online magazine, onto the main website. We still had our partners. People still hung around that we were partnering with, and people came and talk. They could role play in the role playing forums, and that became the incarnation of the RPG Consortium. What you see now, and what you see now is something like this. There we go. And again, lots changed since then, and people come and go, like I said. Friends, we made friends, we made enemies, we had romances. I mean, a couple of my really good friends that I went out with, I met through the site. One in particular, which is probably one of my best friends ever, and we still talk once in a while. She's married now and stuff like that, but it's still community, and it was just an instance of a community. Now, this is kind of important because what the RPG Consortium is now is kind of something that it will be handed down to a future project that's coming in this year. And I'm trying to figure the best way to do this, and the programming involved in it, I've been hacking away at it forever. Okay, now again, this was probably one of the biggest websites around back then, and then slowly I started losing interest in role playing. So losing interest in role playing kind of lost the interest in the site. The site's still up, and there's still people that go there and just talk once in a while, just a few tricklers in there, in and around. And who knows, maybe I'll jumpstart the site again, when maybe Enter the Breach comes out, or Through the Breach comes out, from Malifaux. I haven't roleplayed in a while, but that's one of the things that we did talk about with the guys. World of fucking Warcraft. All right. Now, in between the time while I was still doing the RPG Consortium and my interest was waning down, I also did a couple things with a friend of mine. We did a site called Game 2 Extreme, and that was a video gaming community, and we did reviews and stuff like that. It was GameSpot, IGN back in its infancy. They were starting too. Now, if we kept with it, it'd be awesome. But like all communities, sometimes ego clash, and if you let it get in the way, it destroys the project. It's pretty much what happened between the staff and the friend of mine and stuff like that. But putting that aside, at this point in time, I lost interest in the role-playing site. Mainly had to deal with my breakup with my girl back then. So, I was just hunting around doing stuff, and then got I believe I wasn't into MMORPGs at this time. EverQuest came out. I got a copy of it to review and stuff for that site. And I believe World of Warcraft was just coming out, or just came out about a year, and then I decided to jump in on that out of curiosity or something. I don't usually do MMORPGs, but I decided to check it out. Oh, I know what it was. It was because at this time I was also heavily into Magic the Gathering, and we were going to, prelims and stuff like that. We were doing competition Magic and stuff like that. Well, a couple of guys there played World of Warcraft, and then they kind of got me into it, so I jumped in on that. Now, this is kind of important. It'll lead into something that got me started into YouTube, but basically, I started playing World of Warcraft, got into a guild called Legion of Light. Something happened there. Now, here's the thing about video game communities, especially the people involved, is maybe it's the age bracket or something that plays, but lots of drama happening. It always happens. I mean, all communities have the drama. I think video gamers are the worst of it. So, joined Legion of Light. Something happened there where, I met a friend. She got handed over the guild because the guild master disappeared. He basically, got lost interest in the game. So then lots of drama happened between her and her boyfriend of the guild, and then her and I decided, let's start a new guild, and then I'll run it, and then she'll co-GM it, because at that time I was co-GMing the guild for her. So then we moved everyone over to Deliverance. That was the name of the guild, and she co-GM'd for me, and then it was a progression guild. Okay, so we were helping everyone level up. But the thing about World of Warcraft is when everyone's up there, there's nowhere else to go but end game content, and it stops to become progression guild and becomes an end game raiding guild, and just the natural progression of it. If you can't stand just being stagnant, then you have to do end game. So that's what happened. Our guild became end game. We were doing 40-man raids and stuff like that, and again, drama, major drama. I didn't want to deal with it. I'm like, okay guys, look, here's the guild, go away. I decided I just wanted to join a guild and not be a GM for it. So I joined a guild called Clarion Call. Really cool people there. I still talk to a couple of them. And it was a great guild. It was very friendly, inviting. and they were end game, and they just did casual raiding and stuff. So we jumped in, we're doing this, we're having fun with it. Then the GM burned out, I believe. They handed the guild to someone else. Drama happened, they handed it to someone else. I mean, this is all within a few months. And then I got handed the guild, and again I was GM again. So I ran the guild forever, for a while there, not forever, for a while there, and we're doing lots of raiding. And at this time again, the reason why I didn't want to become a GM, because it gets really stressful, because you have to run everything, and when you're dealing with video gamers, no offense, but a lot of them are really lazy. When we were doing serious endgame, we want people that want to work for it, and a lot of people did. You had the team here that worked for it, and you got the few stragglers who didn't want to work for it. They're just lazy. They didn't want to do anything. They're like, oh, we're just having fun. This is just a game. And they're like, oh, okay, that's fine, but you still got to do your stuff. You still got to get your pots. You still got to get the money, the gold, to farm it, to be able to buy this stuff. So it went for a while. It was actually a really good run I had with the guild, probably 2-3 years. That it happened. Now, the reason why I mentioned World of Warcraft, other than the thing about online communities, which it is huge, is that I started doing the videos, the instructional videos for World of Warcraft. At this time, the internets have already switched. We went to 9/11, we went to the .bomb, lots of stuff happening in real life, and then when .bomb hit, everything went stagnant. The whole community forums, the type of things went down. And then suddenly you had MySpace pop up, you had Facebook pop up, and then you had YouTube pop up. Now, no matter what you call it, it's still community, okay? You could, these advertising idiots could shove things down your throat, call it whatever, cloud, web 2.0, social networking. It's all still community. So that's how I got started in YouTube, is I started making videos about tutorials about making WoW mods and how to use them and stuff like that. So this was my channel for all the WoW videos I did. It wasn't that much, but it did get tons of hits. I mean, it was all about how to use mods, and I was kind of the mod guy, because all my stuff was modded. My whole screen was all different and stuff. And I mean, just these videos itself got tons of freaking views. And look at my subscribers, it's only 663. But this is how I got into YouTube, really. This is the start of my YouTube adventures, really. And did a really cool recruitment video for my guild. Now, after the whole stint with World of Warcraft, I just needed to be left alone, silent. I mean, after all the stuff that gone through with that guild, friends, romances, all that stuff I made during it. It was great and all, but after a while, it was just too stressful. You just had to step back from it all. So I did that, and I was just trying to find a new hobby. And basically, I believe I was going through my closet one day, and I found some models of mine that I did way back in high school, or way back then. And I found my old airbrush and everything, and me and my friend was talking about, which was my partner, business partner back then. He was doing Gundam models or something, so I saw him doing it, and it kind of all got me in the mood to do scale modeling again. So that's when I started moving about and finding places to go. I went to Pro Modeler, which is Phil Flory's site. Joined that, and I was watching him do all his models and stuff using the airbrush. So I bought a new airbrush and everything. And then I decided that, hey, did videos before about sharing the hobby, let's go ahead and do it again, and let's do it for scale modeling. And that's pretty much when I started the scaling model channel that some of you guys know about. And then I was going to start a site. That's what it's called, WGConsortium. And it was Scale Models Consortium. I was going to start a website to, again, get people together, share their things, their work and everything. But I found Scale Model Addict, and I became friends with Scott, the guy who did there. So I just started helping him with the website and stuff like that. And it got to where it's at now. I mean, I left there, because it was on there that I found Tony. And Tony, we were talking, and he said, you know, a year later we were talking, and mentioned that I was in the wargaming before when I was in high school, and it's like, well, why don't you, do it again? I challenge you. And that was really funny.
And I'm hoping to meet up with Consortium from Scale Model Attic as well, and maybe we can have a game or two. You're going down, Chung. Go down.
So you challenged me, and then I pulled out my Bretts out, and I redid everything again. And if you guys remember, I had the what was it, Wargaming Renoob or something like that, the little series of videos there about getting help. Okay, Wargamer subscribers, even though I haven't done anything Wargamings yet, I think I'm about to. I've been called out. And getting your advices and stuff, and how to build up the army and everything. And then we had a game at SoCal Smackdown. And then doing that, I was searching around, and I found Mini Wargaming, watched their videos. I found Les, and then we talked, and we got, we became really good friends since then. And that's basically how I got pushed into, doing all the wargaming stuff for you guys now. A year after doing, scaling modding stuff, I started into the wargaming stuff. And then just building on and on and on with that, and this is where we're at right now. And I think that's the main point there. Yeah, why I took you guys on this journey is to show you guys what online community, in my view, is. It's the people. It's people you work with. It's people that do the same thing as you do, and teaching people and helping people, and taking from all that community stuff that I learned is that, not everyone's going to get along. There's always going to be drama, and you're going to make friends, you're going to make enemies, you're going to find romance, and you're going to find breakups and stuff like that. But at the end of it all, together, I think as a community, we're going to build, lifelong friendships. People that you're never going to forget, whether or not you stay or leave the community. And I think that's the best thing about it. And you got this far with me right now, and that's really cool. And the sun's coming up, so it means I gotta cut this down short because this is already really long. Thank you for going with me on this journey. It's a new year. A lot of things will change, but one thing that's not going to change is the friendships we made together, and the enemies, and maybe the loves that we found and the loves that we lost, the stuff that we shared with our family, with our significant other that don't understand what we do, but they're to back you up either way, regardless. And together in this hobby, I'm going to look forward to a really good new year with you guys, and hopefully you guys will enjoy it just the same. Whatever project we do, whatever we come up with, we hope to see you there. And that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. I know it's been really long, and just keeping me company on this, reflecting in the past and stuff, so that we know what we could plan for the future and go on with it. I'll talk to you guys later.